Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope well. Hope everybody's doing good out there. Um, I was just thinking back on a time when my wife had a massive surgery at a hospital. And they gave her an antibiotic and she almost died. I ended up getting all the doctors on that floor to, help her out. They still went through with the surgery. And then, after the surgery, I was waiting in the waiting room literally for 10 hours, waiting for them to call me so I could go see her in her room. I kept asking the receptionist, the nurses, or, when can I visit? Oh, you can see her soon. Okay. They're still doing procedures. Okay, that's fine. I'll go wait again. There at freaking 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, have the surgery done, and then I didn't see her again until 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, because to the fact of finally I got really aggravated that things were taking so long and why I couldn't go visit her. So I went up to the nurse's desk and asked where my wife was. They said, well, she's not here. I mean, what do you mean she's not here? Where is she? Oh, she's been moved. Where is she moved to? Oh, we can't tell you that. Why can't you tell me? I'm her husband. Well, it's not procedure to tell you. I'm like, what do you mean it's not procedure to tell me? I've been waiting here all day, and you keep telling me there's procedures being done. Then you tell me, oh, she's in a totally different part of the hospital, but you can't tell me because of privacy. It's like, I'm her husband. I know everything that goes on with her. She knows everything that goes on with me. Well, we can't tell you. So I got pissed off and I threw everything off their desk. They ended up calling 4 security guards up. Security guard asked what the problem was. I explained to him how long I've been there, 10 hours. Explained to him my wife almost died. She went through the surgery anyway. And they're telling me that they can't tell me where she is because it's a privacy law when it's my own wife. So I got pissed and I threw everything off their desk. The security guard looks at the nurse and the other assistants, and they said, he has a right to be pissed off. He said there's no privacy law for telling a husband where their wife is. He's like, honestly, I would have done the same thing and threw everything off your desk. He's like, that is not cool. He's like, you need to tell him where his wife is so he can go visit her to make sure she's okay. And she argued with the security guard a little bit, and the security guard said, listen, I'll get the head of the hospital down here to tell me where it is, and then your job might be in very serious jeopardy because there's no privacy law from telling a husband where his wife is after a surgery. So she ended up telling the security officer that she was in ICU. And he looked at her and said, was that hard to tell him that she's in the ICU? She didn't have much to say. She turned around and walked away. The security guard looked at me, took me to her to visit her. They apologized, and they actually went to the head of the hospital to complain about that nurse and the receptionist because there was no reason for them to treat me the way they did. And the security guard was not happy about it. The head of the hospital was not happy about it. Actually, the head of security and the head of the hospital walked up to her room later to give us a formal apology. They even wrote it on paper, apologizing for their actions. Well, the nurse's actions and the receptionists. And that there will be an investigation into those two. And that's as much as they could tell us about that. My wife did do fine after the surgery. She ended up going home the same day. Not that it was recommended by her doctor or me, but there was no arguing with her at all. So all they told her is, if you can drink something, go to the bathroom, you can go home, but you need to stay home. So I ran all the way to Dunkin' Donuts and got her a coffee, which made her go. So you leave thinking we're gonna go home. No, she wanted to go get another Dunkin' Donuts coffee. But in the long run, don't let these hospitals, doctors' offices push you around. There's no law stating that they can't tell you where your wife is or child is after they've had a surgery. There's no such law at all. She was judging me because, and I heard her say it to the security officer, and the security officer said that's not a reason not to tell him. Is because I had tattoos and a Rob Zombie shirt on. Big whoop. I had it mostly covered. You could just see a little bit of it. Big deal. Nothing big about it. But these are just little mini horror stories of how hospitals treat people. And it's not cool. Like I said, it took me to get all the doctors on that floor to help her in that area. Because I looked at the nurse and told her arm's getting numb. She don't feel right after they put the antibiotic, which she ends up being allergic to. The nurse just stood there looking like, duh. So I'm the one that had to grab doctors, and other patients grabbed doctors and they told their doctors to go help my wife so she wouldn't pass away. So I think some of these nurses, doctors, need to be retrained on what they're being used for at the hospitals, because they clearly don't give a crap about anybody. They just go there for their paycheck. They don't care their health. There's some that do care, but there's a lot that don't. That needs to change. It shouldn't have taken 10 hours for me to find my wife in that hospital and security to help me find her. I mean, the surgery, I guess, ended 5 hours earlier. So I was sitting in a waiting room for 5 hours because of what I was wearing. And she's trying to come up with some crazy thing that it's a privacy law to tell you where your wife is. There is no such thing at all. In an abuse thing, that's one thing. But I'm not an abusive person. It was a surgery that she needed. It had to be done. I'm highly against abuse of a woman, a child, or anything. I don't believe in it. That's another topic I'll get into eventually. Probably soon. I also want to get into a few other subjects, but I am going to continue on with these subjects about the medical field because they're actually getting really ridiculous. I mean, there's a few more little horror stories I could tell you about ERs and doctors' offices and how people are treated, and it's not nice. But anyway, stay clean, stay positive, live life to the fullest. Peace out, everybody.